That's right, the moment you've all been waiting for. The GameCola Off-Topic Podcast is back! After 2.5 years, we've stockpiled hours of off-topic content, and now the wait is over. Covering podcasts 30 through 35, and with a new theme song by GameCola's own Mateo Javier, Off-Topic Podcast 3 is coming your way. We start you off with Podcast 30 about age in video games. Well, in reality, we spent most of the podcast going on about how we had no clue what to say. Here comes the first part.
Yeah, I have to actually edit myself clearing my throat out of like that's the majority of the podcast is me doing that.
You should put together one podcast that's nothing but that.
Just
throat clearing, sniffles.
Oh, were we talking before about doing something like that for April
Yes.
Fools?
Yeah.
It is possible.
Oh, Lizzo just chimed in from the other room saying that would be totally awesome.
I could do one that's just me clearing my throat, and it would just be like for like 10 minutes straight.
That'd be kind of funny.
I do find it interesting though, when I'm when I'm editing the podcast in Audacity, that I can see by looking at the waveforms or whatever, when people are laughing or coughing or something, or going, they all have specific shapes. Yes, thank you, Paul.
Yes,
I see how that ties in with old people.
Because they often go,
They also have to clear their throat, and sometimes they laugh. So does Lizzo want to be on the podcast?
Lizzo, do you want to be on the podcast? No, come chime in real quick. No? Okay. No, she doesn't. She doesn't really like doing the podcast.
Is it because everyone mispronounces her name?
No, I don't know. She's just a crazy person.
It's very disappointing. We need more girls on the podcast.
We do. I agree. We should get Terrence to do the podcast.
Terrence?
Terrence Atkins.
Yes, well, I mean...
Be careful what you search for.
Yes, actually, I'm glad to see that Be Careful What You Search For is back as well. I was very...
Yeah, that just made a big comeback to the site just a week or so ago.
But I guess I always assumed Terrence was a guy.
No, Terrence is a girl.
Interesting. Terrence is also a cat.
Terrence is absolutely a cat. Actually, we had several big comebacks on the site recently, and this is just so wildly off-topic and boring that no one's going to care at this point. But Terrence Atkins' comic strip, Be Careful What You Search For, came back. Matt Gardner's monthly column, or Matt Gardner's column, I guess I should just say, of the month. And Captain Eric's Psychic Thumbs also came back recently. And Gates of Life coming back in a week or so.
Wow.
Very exciting time to live in.
The return of Classic Cola. Wait.
Next month, Sprite Monkey.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, that's not true. Sprite Monkey's never coming back.
But, as I was speaking of Classic Cola, I remember a certain, Classic Cola column, I guess it was.
Oh. Yes, we used to have a column where, I would just take an old article and republish it to make up space.
Brilliant.
Because our issues were short.
Yes.
Yeah, I keep thinking off and on about doing something along those lines, just because we have such a deep archive. It might be neat to bring some of that back up to the main page at some point. But I'm just settling for linking to older stuff when I think to do it at this point.
It puts it on the side of the front page. It does the job for now.
Full archives are not currently on the main site yet. I only have up through the end of 2006. We still have 2002 to 2005 to repost.
Wow.
It's taking a long time. I've been doing this since March.
Wow. Do you have to, print them out, scan them in, retype them?
No, I have to, well, for some horrible reason, I can't just copy the text directly from the old site onto the new site because the fonts and font sizes and everything else just goes completely messed up. So what I do is I paste it all into Word first, and then I change the fonts there to make sure everything's consistent, and then I paste that and then I have to reinsert all the images and make sure the layout looks relatively decent. And in the case with my own articles, I re-edit them because everything I've written prior to about 2007 is just garbage.
It's cheating.
So it's a process.
Go something, wasn't it? It was Don't Go Something.
What?
Or other.
Was that the one I put up? Was that Kingdom of Heaven?
What?
Or something like that?
No,
No? Okay.
sorry, this was Hold on. I can't believe that I can't remember it.
Tower of Heaven, that's what I was thinking of.
No, this was like I said, it was an indie game. It was it lasted exactly 5 minutes. I remember that part. I want to say it started with an R. I'm killing myself here.
I'm looking it up.
Yes.
All indie games to start with R.
Yeah, just look up the list of indie games on Wikipedia. Why can't I remember this? I want to say it had something to do like you. I mean, I guess you guys have never played it.
Well, was this game featured on GameCola.net?
No, but tell us about this website. What is this website called?
Oh, GameCola.net. It is a video game comedy website that everyone on this podcast, we're all writers for it, and it's just a wonderful, funny, fun site. I recommend it.
I don't
for
see
everyone.
why I'd play any game that is not featured on that site.
I guess that's why you guys have never played this one.
There is an online game called Walk Right, and in it you walk to the right.
Is this the Aqua Teen Hunger Force game?
It could be. Let's see.
No,
Although there was an Adult Swim game that I was looking at that is called, oh no. No, it looks like Mario.
Mario. Well, here,
And if you don't just walk right, you fail.
what was the other game? The guy made another game called, like, Gravitation or something.
Wait, was that the game that was called
What?
Because that's a game.
Yeah.
It is Gravity somewhere in the title as well. But it's like Gravity something or other.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch after that. It's like, oh, what a terrible way to use gravity against me. I'm going to die or something.
I guess that's not what you're talking about.
No, it's not.
No. So does this have something to do with old people? Or
Sorry, I know
How did we get on this?
old people love walking to the right.
Well, okay, what the deal is that it's a 5-minute game. You start off as, like, a little dude, and as you move to the right, and as time goes on, you get older and older.
Oh,
okay.
so
I
it's
have
actually
played
a game about age and aging.
Yeah, well, that was supposed to be the whole deal, is that, like, it was a metaphor for life, and that, you know, the choices that you make sort of affect your outcome, and that, like, if you can get a wife and stuff, but having the wife sort of prevents you from getting some of the treasures, and if you spend all your time getting the treasures, you don't...
No shit.
Actually, the time that I got the wife, I don't think that I got a single one. She always, like, blocked me in some way. Because, you know, you're twice as wide when you have the second character there. So, like, there were so many paths that I couldn't go down because she was there.
Wow. That is some harsh symbolism.
Well, no, but every step you take gives you a point. And if you have your wife with you, you get 2 points. So you're getting twice as many points even if you miss out on the treasures. Right?
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for life. And I can't remember the name of it.
Is it Alter Ego?
No.
Oh. Well, there's another game kind of like that, but it's not action-based, called Alter Ego, where you start as a fetus, and it's like a simulation of life where you make all your big life decisions, I think down to like who you're taking to the prom. And then at the end of it, or I think in the middle of the game, just randomly, you can be like, oh, cancer, you're dead.
Wow.
The game sounds like fun.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Leukemia,
serious.
sign me
Cool.
up. It's online. It's, I think,
Alter Ego,
playalterego.com.
you said it was called?
Playalterego.com is where you can find it. It's free online. I think there was also like a DOS-based iteration of it.
I just wrote that down.
Yeah, you start as like a fetus, and you're like, oh, I think I'll bring you to the dance at high school, and I'll marry you, and have 6 kids, and I got AIDS. You just die out of nowhere sometimes. Or sometimes you just get old, and you're like, yay, I'm gonna die. Oh, but you're alone because your wife died years ago. It's kind of depressing in most cases, but sometimes you get the good ending of dying with all your friends around of old age.
Well, what about the ending where you don't die and you live forever?
I haven't gotten that one yet.
Oh.
I'm saving that one for real life.
Very nice, very nice. Why can I not find this? Well, I mean, first of all, I'm actually, like, trying not to open Firefox because I'm, like, doing all of this on a netbook. So, like, I don't want to...
Crash everything.
Yeah.
And then we lose the file, and then there's no podcast.
Yeah. So, like, I'm trying to look on my computer, but I deleted it all.
Is the game you're thinking of Tower of Heaven?
No. What is that game about? Tell us about that game, because...
Tower of Heaven, I put it on a Poor Player's Paradise once. It's actually pretty fun. It's this game where you have to follow God's rules, and you have to climb this tower. And at first, God says, all right, you think you're so smart? Only walk to the right. And if you walk to the left, he zaps you to death. And then later on, he says, don't touch anything that's alive. So if you touch like a butterfly that's flying around, you get zapped to death. And you just have to follow his increasingly sadistic rules to beat the game. And then I think you get one wish, and you wish to get rid of God or something.
Wow.
It's a pretty cool game, though.
Sounds like quite a game.
And it's free.
That's cool. I'm like bashing my head and trying to figure out what the name of this game was. Like it's kind of bothering me. It was named something, like it was a single word. I want to say that it started with an R. And just go look up video games that start with R.
It's not gonna happen.
Go on Wikipedia and look up list of video games starting with R.
And then read every single one, and that can be the rest of the podcast.
Well, hold on. We do have...
We're gonna filibuster this
Hold
one.
on, okay.
Yes.
I'm opening the Firefox.
I was just joking.
I'm not gonna go to Wikipedia and read all games with R. Hold on. Okay, see, here it is. If you guys had just searched for Gravitation Game, you would have found the website of the dude who, made it. And Passage, it doesn't start with R, it starts with a P. But a P in, Russian is pronounced like an R.
A P is just an R with a leg.
Without a leg.
Wait, the other way around.
So, I'm probably gonna delete all of that. You know, every time that I look at your picture there, Matt Jonas, I just keep thinking of snooping as usual.
Yeah, that's what got me back into watching it again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
YouTube videos?
The first 2 or 3 episodes, and you can see that from where everybody else has sampled it from.
Yeah. Christian Porter and Paul Franzen have no clue what we're talking about.
I was Googling it so I could find out and be cool.
Just do a Google search, or do a YouTube search for penis.
Is it Dr. Robotnik?
Well, here.
I'll do a YouTube search for penis.
Well, that's the joke. YouTube search for that.
Oh, penis. I was going to say penis. I'm sure I'm well ahead of you. I'm sure I've done that search before.
Yes.
Oh, see, yeah, it is Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, it is. But as soon as he changed his icon there to that, that's all I could think of is snooping as usual, I see. And so, for the last 2 hours, I keep glancing at the screen.
I don't even see an icon. I'm so left out, I don't even have an icon.
You don't see the icon? I see Matt Jonas has Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, and you have
Mr. T.
Mr. T?
No, that's me in blackface as Mr. T.
Wow.
That's my Halloween.
You make very convincing, Mr. T.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I would expect. And Jetty is just a dude with a question mark for a
Oh,
head.
am I?
Yeah, I see that.
And but Paul Franzen is holding, is it 3 swords?
Yes, I'm tri-wielding.
Wow.
General Grievous.
I have 2 lightsabers and a pirate cutlass. I was actually doing battle with them.
There we go. Okay, I had to be friends with Matt Jonas, and we were not friends. Now we are good friends. Now I see it.
Friends on Facebook?
It's like a sickly-looking Sonic, now that I see it.
It's because he's voiced by Urkel.
It's an evil robot Sonic.
Oh, okay.
Kids, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone touches you in a way or in a place that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good.
We should sign off every podcast with that.
Well,
It'll be like winners don't do drugs.
Well, no, but the Sonic cartoon ended with Sonic Says. That's what we need. Is something like
Yes. GameCola says.
Yes, like.
Or just put in the actual sound effects from that show.
Yeah. And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, it sounded like that.
Yes. I don't know. This podcast is done though.
It is quite finished.
Wait. We have to fill up 20 more seconds. Silence is a good way to do that.
It's like 40 more seconds to
Really?
me. Yeah, to make it to 2 hours.
Yeah, well, you also picked up last.
Oh, I did. I picked up late.
Tisk. 4, 3,
Yeah.
2,
Trying to find my microphone.
2 hours.
Fingers.
Very nice. Yeah, we're done. So I'm ending this.
I think it's time to stop now. At the point where we're podcasting about the timer on Skype, perhaps we've run out of things to say.
Yes.
I found a Sonic Says. Did you hear the Sonic Says, or did it not come through?
I didn't hear it.
I think
Oh, well.
Are you wearing headphones?
It's probably... Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to, like, put the headphones next to the microphone.
I have an actual microphone if you want me to try to do it.
That's okay. Let's see. I can bend it.
Oh, you're...
Alright.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Smoking's bad for you, know.
No, it's not. Try it. Whoa, little bro.
That smoke will make you choke.
It doesn't make me...
Smoking is for dumbbutts. It's bad for your health, and it stains your teeth. So don't be a fool. Smoking isn't cool.
And there you have it. Smoking isn't cool.
It's going in the
For
podcast.
dumbbutts. Absolutely should.
Very nice. I think that was a good way to end this podcast. Okay. This is done now. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Podcast 31 covered Metroid. We stayed on topic, but we had a rude interruption.
So, okay, that's it. You're off.
Wait, who's playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Are we?
I heard some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Crisis averted.
Hey, sorry guys, that was my ringtone.
That was your Teenage
Your
Mutant Ninja
ringtone
Turtles.
was calling you.
Yeah.
All right, attention.
Yes.
That's fine. So yeah, I was just ranting about the controls in Metroid Prime 3. That's all right. Your cell phone ring's probably more interesting than me anyhow. What?
Samus be made too cute.
Did someone just escape the podcast in a Mario Kart?
I think so.
Sorry, that's my phone again.
Then we'll warp back to Dr. Lightspace.
Yes.
Do you
Actually,
need
it was
to
a
like
Mario
include
pipe.
your phone as one of the members on the podcast and the roster this time? Like, hi, I'm Mark Friedman. Hi, I'm Mike Ridgway. Hi, I'm Jetty. Hi, I'm Nathaniel.
That's Mark's phone.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Indeed.
Um,
Jetty, how about you?
Good question, because I think, in general, it's what sort of set me upon, other... Yikes.
Okay, that's it. Your phone needs to pay royalties or something.
Put it on silent, Mark.
Next is Podcast 32, Crossover Games. Lacking any real crossover games, in true GameCola style, we went on about Animorphs instead.
Actually, going back to our original Animorphs discussion, part of the reason why I didn't like the book, whatever it was, that I sort of stopped reading at, was because it had a whole lot of pictures, and I was like, these look nothing like how I imagined them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the descriptions that I read from the book and how I pictured it looked absolutely nothing like the pictures in the book.
You mean like the book covers?
Yeah. I just remember that it had, like, specifically a large amount of cover art, like maybe the inside of the cover was also drawn on or something, I don't know. And I remember being very much like, yeah, this doesn't look...
Well, what always bothered me when I was little about Animorphs in that regard was that, like, they clearly changed models from book to book. So, like...
Clearly! I mean, guys, come on. A little consistency would be good.
I can't tell if you're
There
making
is
fun of me or
one
not.
model they used for the entire series. Only one person that stuck through the entire series. The Cassie model.
Oh, really?
Thank God for that little bit of consistency. Otherwise, I would have said, I am done with this.
What happened is she went to a local college, so she was still able to stop by the studio and pose for the picture.
I can't not believe that you know that.
It was on Wikipedia.
No, like,
Why does Wikipedia
seriously,
know
when
that?
I was 12, that, like, really bothered me. I'm like, that's not what Jake looked like 3 books ago, guys.
Yeah, I liked the 10th Animorph book, where she specifically gives Marco a haircut because she hated the picture they had for him on the 5th one. So it's like a major plot point that Marco got a haircut just so they would be forced to get...
Yeah, everyone thought it was very cute.
Yeah, but I just always thought that was amusing, that, he got a haircut, so they had to get a new model for him. But I always thought the model on that cover had long hair anyway, so he didn't really look like he got a haircut.
How about an Animorphs crossover with something?
I don't think that would work.
No?
Maybe if the Animorphs crossover with the Twilight book.
No, there is no way there is not fan fiction about that already.
No, but
There's
I mean
no
the
way.
Twilight series that she started, which was an Animorphs ripoff.
What?
She started a second series, which was a ripoff of Animorphs. So, I mean, it's about aliens, maybe not aliens, but like slugs that go inside your brain and take over you. And that's totally Animorphs. But, it's written by the person who did Twilight.
Wow.
And it looks like the most popular Animorphs crossover is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Really? Oh my god, I have to read that.
Wow.
That sounds
5
awesome.
of them. 5 crossovers between Buffy and Animorphs.
That sounds
No,
wonderful.
9 with Animorphs and Doctor Who. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Doctor Who wins.
That's...
Harry Potter has 7. Mary Poppins?
Wait, are these just like on your hard drive, or?
Are these ones that you wrote, or are they...
No, this is on Animorphs fanfiction. Fanfiction.net/crossover/Animorphs/54.
I hate you, Michael Gray.
Why on earth is there an Animorphs Mary Poppins crossover? I must...
Michael
They all
Gray,
morph into Mary Poppins. That'd be great.
So,
I don't think we've talked enough about Tinkle Pit yet, personally.
apparently, what happens in the Mary Poppins Animorphs crossover...
Why don't we just spend the rest of the podcast reading from some of our favorite crossover fanfiction?
They
I'd
hire...
like to propose a Mary Poppins breakdance game called Mary Poppin' Lock. Kids.
I would buy.
Actually, I figured I'll mention this here. I should do a blog post on it. Have you guys heard about like the awesome deals Kmart's been having lately?
no.
The what?
No?
Is Kmart still around?
Yeah, they are. They've actually been having some really good video game deals lately. If you buy something in the first week that it comes out, like I bought and they gave me a $20 off coupon for a future game purchase.
Nice.
And I've heard they're doing something similar with Donkey Kong Country Returns. So I'm going to take that $20 off coupon, funnel into Donkey Kong Country Returns, get that for like $30. Take that probably additional $20 coupon and funnel that into my next game purchase. So yeah, they've been doing really good deals lately.
How much do video games cost anymore? Because I don't think I've bought a new game in
new 360 and PS3 games are generally $60. Wii games are like $50, I think.
Yeah.
And the portable games are like 30 or 40.
Unless they're very big, then they're 40.
Yeah. So I'm getting more and more into portable games and downloadable games just because they're affordable.
Yeah, they give you they'll take like $10 or $15 off, or give you a $10 or $15 coupon on a DS game. So
yeah. Congratulations on the wedding, by the way.
Thank you. It was a lovely.
Your hair looks stupid today. Jeez.
I will murder you. I don't care if you're training to become a priest or anything. I will.
No, I'm just saying, do you go around... I'm making a joke. Do you go around insulting her?
And that's why she loves
because
you?
I like her.
But you just said you go around hating on everything, so I was joking.
Except for
he's
her.
Also... Except her, okay.
Why would I hate on my wife? I love her.
Okay.
She was able to break through his icy exterior and get to the icy interior.
The slightly thawed interior.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like breaking through an ice sheet to permafrost.
But, Michael Ridgway, can you believe that people are selling a collector's edition of Metroid Other M for $90? How crazy would you have to be in order to purchase that?
Pretty crazy. What's in it?
Mike,
Metroid
you know you
Other
own it
M,
already. Come on.
Is it not worth the purchase? A
Does
sealed game,
it come with a cool figure?
art folio.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Well, if you get the special edition, it comes with like a good Metroid game instead.
That'd be great.
Yeah, if it came with one, oh boy.
The special edition doesn't have any cutscenes in it.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good feature.
That would be a nice feature. Actually, I've got a question. I don't want to play the game a second time, but do they have the option of skipping through the cutscenes when you play it a second time?
I think so.
Okay. So really, that's a game that you should buy used, so that you could just not have to deal with the cutscenes forever.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to deal with them because it saves. It's not like it saves on the disc.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
This isn't the Super Nintendo, which I remember doing quite often on the Super Nintendo is buying a used game and then just loading up the save from whoever played last.
That's exactly what my older brother, asked me to do that if I buy any DS games for his kids, my nephews. He wants me to get them used so he doesn't have to beat the game for them.
Wow.
Because that's what always happens and it drives him crazy.
Wow.
He asked me to do that for Wii games too, but I told him it doesn't really work that way.
Podcast 33 was about 3D games, but none of the podcasters had played any, so we ended up talking about everything else.
I have the same reaction to the 3DS. Why is my telephone ringing? I'll be right back.
I have that reaction all the time when I think about video games.
I have that reaction all the time when my phone is ringing.
have a weird phone.
It's usually the friggin' Red Cross calling me asking to donate blood again. They were calling me once a day, every day, for like 2 weeks. It was a nightmare.
Did you give them what they wanted?
No, I'm not going to give in to their demands. F the Red Cross. That's what I say. You can quote me on that, but please don't.
But if you don't give in, there won't be bloodshed.
Oh. See, I used to be a heavy blood donor in college, and then they just started calling me incessantly, and I didn't feel motivated to get up and give blood anymore. There's a
You didn't have the heart for it.
Not anymore. They took that out of me with the little suction device.
We need podcast hold music.
Maybe we can play the Zelda theme backwards.
I was thinking of talking about grizzly bears for a while, actually.
Grizzly bears?
Grizzly bears.
What about them?
I was bluffing. I have nothing about them.
If this is still on the actual podcast, stop listening now.
You know,
Save yourselves.
I just remember, when you're like 5 years old and you're like, oh, it's a grizzly bear. Like, you get the feeling that grizzly means like horribly violent, and then you come to find out,
like it's an
like
adjective?
grizzly. Well, it is an adjective, but it apparently
That's
means
true.
like scruffy.
That's like,
Yeah.
like grizzled
Yeah,
bear.
and but I just remember when I was like 5 years old, I got the impression that grizzly was like horribly violent, and that it was gonna like rip you up, and that's why they called it grizzly. Is because
Well, even if that's not entirely accurate as from an English standpoint, it's probably a good rule of thumb for if you're going camping.
I actually did go camping in the like deep woods at one point. We went gold panning, and we had to bring along the bear mace. It was literally like anti-bear.
I went camping in like a town here in New Hampshire, the town of Raymond. It's not really a huge metropolis, but it's not way out in the sticks either. And I went camping there, and a bear actually went into my cooler and took all the Hershey bars that I was going to make s'mores out of.
Did it steal your pot of honey?
No, it did not. I
Picnic
kept it in the
basket?
tent with me. No
Picnic
picnic basket.
basket?
Is anyone... Is this the Yogi Bear movie
That's
out
a
yet?
3D movie.
I think...
We can
Is
edit
it? There
it
you
into
go.
the podcast.
I'm just super excited. Like when I saw the commercial for the first time, I could not stop laughing because of who plays Boo Boo in that movie. You know who plays Boo Boo?
Justin
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I was like falling over laughing that Justin Timberlake was playing Boo Boo. I don't know
And
why.
he does it well. I have to give him credit. It sounds
and-
really good.
And not only that, and Yogi Bear portrayed by Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, also well. Not that I'm going to go see the movie.
No,
I was
absolutely
laughing
not.
for the first time I saw a trailer, or not a trailer, a picture of the poster, is because they chose the unfortunate tagline, "Good things come in bears," and also they position Yogi right behind Boo Boo.
It's very uncomfortable.
It was very
It was
uncomfortable.
very uncomfortable.
Yes.
I just got the joke you just made.
Yeah. That made its way around the internet a little bit, but yeah, it was really strange. But now it's Life's a Picnic, which I guess you can't take any other way.
I think this
Okay,
podcast is
my fiance just wrote me a note asking if we can go watch a movie now.
Uh,
So I think that
Wait, is it
means
a
I have to
3D
go.
movie?
so we're not up to do a whole other podcast on bears?
Yeah, you guys can enjoy your bear cast. I need to go
A 3D
watch.
movie.
I think we're gonna watch the Santa Claus actually, which is not in 3D. And I know I really want Tim Allen's enormous Santa gut, just really right in my face.
I don't think so, Tim.
Anyway, I think this podcast is over.
I think it was over like 3 hours ago.
It's
Good
just
night,
been
gentlemen.
The weekend of Bernie's of podcasts.
do we have at least one podcast in here somewhere?
Well,
Just waiting to emerge.
We'll see. Okay, we've been going for an hour and 17 minutes, and we have another 43 minutes or something like that previously. And
I think we're good. I mean, we can always add more and, keep any of the excess for another podcast, but, it sounds like we have enough material.
Yeah,
especially
I think just
really
the
all over
big,
the place.
the big behind the scene question is like how do you think you want to put it together?
yeah, right.
Like because we have a lot of individual segments on a whole bunch of different topics, not just 3D gaming. So
Well,
do we wanna...
we had that one podcast where we cast our own pods several ones ago, which was really just a mishmash, and that worked out okay. So, I mean, it's within the realm of possibility that this could work as well. You know, if it's completely random topics.
Mm-hmm. Transitions might be a little difficult.
Well, see, that's what I'm always surprised about, is how often I will cut out literally, like, 15 minutes straight where we were just completely off topic. And then, like, there's a long pause, and then someone says something that brings up exactly where we were before we went off topic.
Well, I feel like definitely during past recordings we'll go on some wild tangent, and then after a while someone will be like, so, how about crossover games?
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it just works so perfectly that I can cut that whole section out. But then there are other times where I'll be cutting stuff out, and then I'll get to the end, and someone will say something that totally brings it back around and makes all of that stuff I just cut out actually have meaning in order for the next 20 minutes to actually make any sense. You know?
That was a challenge.
Yeah.
That's a challenge for today.
And I think that's entirely what this is going to be. I was doing good. I was getting about one podcast a month. I mean,
yeah.
You know, that's not... I was hoping to have been able to do better, but the way that work has been going lately...
Well, I mean, considering the way our very haphazard style recordings, I mean, we create a lot of work for you.
We do have a way of sabotaging you.
We don't just, sit down and have a nice discussion for an hour that you could just, edit out all the horrible coughing and then you're done. We don't make it that easy.
That was the Nathaniel Hoover Metroid podcast. I just cut out a couple extra pauses or some coughing or whatever, and that was it. It was pretty much self-edited.
So it's just when I'm on the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, cutting out your voice takes a lot of work.
Yeah, that's alright.
Burn it? Okay.
Did you say burn it?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I was just gonna say, I don't know, like, you could, because I'm fairly certain we do not have, like, 50 minutes worth of discussion about 3D, so I guess, like, I don't know, maybe it makes sense for you individually or us collectively to record another introduction segment that doesn't say that the podcast is all about 3D games,
Nope.
Just...
Well, we do reference a lot of times how we were completely devolving from the topic at hand.
That's true.
Well, again, it depends on how much you want to take the podcast seriously, or...
Well, and beyond that, if we're putting it on the YouTube page and if we're writing an article about it, the only people who... that's a perfect opportunity for us to explain that we're totally not going to talk about 3D games the whole time. So the only people who would be completely in the dark are, I guess, if they just download it directly from iTunes.
Even then, they can see a description on iTunes, though they don't necessarily have to see the description in order to listen to it.
Oh, sure. But, there are still other opportunities if we don't go back.
Yeah, because I think for the crossover podcast, I literally was like, here are the crossover games we talk about. Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Yeah,
and
I enjoyed that.
Period. What was some of the other stuff that I said about that? I was like, this is the crossover game podcast where we talk about...
I took some of that and put it in the YouTube post too. I hope you don't mind too much.
Oh no, I mean it is the podcast, so.
Yeah, it was like these are the crossover games we talk about. We also talk about Mike and Vanjie's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a crossover game. It's got two GameCola staff writers crossing over.
Crossing the threshold, one might say.
Yeah, right.
Into marriage.
Sounds like a Wii game.
I guarantee you there are some Wii or DS games that somehow relate to marriage or wedding planning.
Oh, there are.
Yeah.
It's been on top of the heap.
Oh, that's right, yeah. You would know, you're the expert on that stuff.
I'm an expert on crap. I still have junk on my Wii.
That's what's so great about GameCola is that all of us have just wildly diverse interests in video games. That's what makes the year-end award so much fun for me.
Wait, just to clarify,
everything that's like
I would like to clarify that those are not my interests. I just do them for top of the heap. I do not play Barbie Horse Adventures because I want to. Although I do have some crappy games that I do like.
I don't know, I think that we may have enough general conversation to have two whole podcasts in here, though.
Ooh.
Potentially.
Okay.
Because I think I could mix it up so that, maybe I can cut it down to 45 minutes, and then we would have half an hour of discussion on...
Well, when Colin and Michael were talking, were they talking about 3D games too, by any chance?
Not really.
Okay.
It was more us talking about, like, well, do we want to do the podcast? Well, I have this to do. Oh, that sounds kind of interesting, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe we just need to, like, stop having topics. Maybe we just need to get together and just go with it. See what comes out.
Or in the event that we don't know anything about a topic, maybe multiple topics.
Whoa.
It's crazy.
Well, if we have one really big topic, if we know there's at least one expert or at least a couple of people who sort of know something about it, like with this one, it was tough because none of us really had anything to say or knew anything about 3D games. I mean, Christian, you had the Virtual Boy you could talk about for 5 seconds, and that's great podcast material right there. But we were just making stuff up, which is fine. It's cool. But I know that there have been a lot of other podcasts like. Well, I was listening to the Age in Video Games one, and that sounds like a single bullet point on a larger topic, or a very big bullet point in a larger topic. But I know there have been some other ones that have really been able to develop nicely with lots and lots of different aspects of one really big picture question, whereas with 3D, we're sort of hypothesizing about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
No.
And maybe with the ones that are stronger. Those can carry a whole podcast, but this one, not so much. Although we could probably get 3 podcasts if we make a podcast out of us asking whether or not we have enough material for a podcast.
So, the future of the podcast is held in our hands. Well, good night, everybody.
To be continued.
So we got several segments on today's podcast. Segment 1, tea. Segment 2, soda. Segment 3 will 3D games. And segment 4, reader mail.
Yes,
Unless, we decide to completely reorganize those after the fact.
Oh, well, too bad now. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, but see, I can take the numbers that he said and rearrange the words.
Number 4, 3D games. Just all over the place.
Number 3, is 3D games.
I know, that's you editing it.
I totally want to make this now before the part where we talk about the Virtual Boy, so that I can edit it to have you say, this will be talked about later, but...
Sure. Oh, you're gonna... It's gonna take a very long time to get this podcast out.
Right?
It's gonna be a lot of post-production on this.
I'm gonna see...
I also like the part where Christian said, I own one, and you can really just integrate that anywhere you feel like. Not necessarily with Virtual Boy.
Yes. I'm gonna see, because I want to see if I can get comments, and I want to see if people are actually listening, will people...
Speaking of comments.
Yes.
Is it
all
time
perfect
to move
needed
on
for
to
you.
segment 4?
Wait, 5? Oh, wait, no, 4.
5?
4.
I thought it was 4. It was 4 when I did my original countdown at the beginning of the podcast.
Yes, at the beginning of the podcast.
Which was 10 minutes ago.
Are we done with this podcast yet?
No idea.
Because, we've been talking for an hour, and we talked for... Well, okay, technically we didn't talk on the podcast for 35 minutes last time.
It depends. Are you going to include the stuff about soda and tea? Because then we have a full podcast.
Right? And then there's...
Well, this could also be a super special, super short, super irrelevant edition of the podcast.
We'll just call this one off topic. Just skip having a podcast.
Oh, we talked a lot about video games for the last 20 minutes or so. It wasn't all about 3D games, but there was some solid video game chat there.
Right. Well, maybe I can make this podcast 33 and 34.
Work your magic.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Podcast 33, which is 25 minutes about 3D games, and podcast 34, which is about tea, soda, and New Super Mario Brothers and Kirby.
And it's an hour and a half.
You could pull a Super Mario Brothers Advance, GameCola Podcast 33, Off-Topic Podcast number 3.
Yikes. So wait. GameCola Podcast 33, 3D, and Off-Topic Podcast number 3, 3D.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. You just blew my mind.
I know, right?
I'm tripping balls.
In 3D.
In 3D.
Yeah, why isn't the podcast in 3D?
I do change it to be mono, so technically, I could do it in stereo.
Oh, but that sounds weird. Because isn't stereo you come out of one ear and everyone else comes out of the other ear?
Yeah, whoever's the host, which in this case is me, comes out of one side and everyone else, comes out.
I don't know if that's necessary.
Why do we not have this in 5.1 surround?
Right? I just picture, we're in, a grand auditorium, and I'm up on stage, and you guys are, in the audience.
With a panel.
Right?
Yes. This week on Wait, Don't Tell Me. Christian, Paul, and Nathaniel don't know what they're talking about. Apparently Colin and Michael Gray show up at some point. We don't know how or why or where, but...
Right.
They're edited in somewhere.
We all talk about things that we're not qualified to talk about.
Yeah. So what do you want to do with all this raw podcast material you've got, Jetty? What are you thinking?
Keep on plowing through talking about random things so you can fill up the next one at least.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to think if I have enough to make one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be enough that's just about 3D games to fill out a whole podcast. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
It might be good. I don't know, to just keep 3D just put it all in the same podcast. I don't know. Like, there's stuff about 3D games and there's stuff miscellaneous video game chat as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the last one was also, crossover games.
That's true, yeah.
Well, how about we just say, oh man, we can't think of many 3D games, and that will bait somebody to say, oh yeah, I've got a list of 5,000, and I've categorized them into 16 categories very distinctly. I do this in between my hot dates.
We shouldn't make fun of GameCola's #1 fan, TKGB, like that. That's not nice.
I wasn't. That was completely unrelated.
Okay.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
Okay, so that not safe for work tag, is
Yes.
that what's the determiner for when we slap that on?
I
mean, basically anything Medio writes has it
yeah,
automatic.
I kind of type it into his articles before I even start reading them, just because I assume. If he uses a lot of bad words or sexual metaphors, I think it's probably safe to say that she get the tag, which is what
this
he
one's
does.
actually pretty clean up until a couple of bombs towards the end.
Really? You could probably just do it anyway, just to be on the safe side. Like, it's not like, I mean, he certainly isn't going to be upset if we put the tag on there.
Oh, no,
and
sure.
It doesn't necessarily require it, so maybe it's best to be on the safe side.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna say, like, I think we need to get some pronunciations straight on, like, people's names.
Wouldn't hurt.
Well, because I see you pronounce it Medio or something, and I always pronounced it, like, Mateo.
Yeah, you know, when he first joined the staff, he told me it was pronounced that way. But then later, when we first introduced the theme song, I emailed him again to double check what the pronunciation was, and then he said it was Medio. Before he said Mateo, then it was Medio.
It's just making stuff up.
Well, I always thought it was like that spell from Final Fantasy IV that was a meteor, just minus the R.
Yeah. Well, I think he told me it was originally Mateo. I think he was trying to make me think that it was a real name, like that was his actual name.
That's not his actual name?
Which spoiler alert, it's not his actual name.
What?
I know.
I am
right?
shocked and appalled.
Also,
I've been using my real name all this time.
Well, we don't really like pseudonyms here at GameCola HQ. I mean, well, I guess the thing is, I personally like that almost all of our names, they sound like they could be actual names. Cause this is a total reaction to GamePro back in the day when they'd have a review by like Fuzzy Elephant, and I just thought that looked terrible and ridiculous.
I actually specifically remember that we had this discussion before.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah. That because it was right around the time that Sprite Monkey came in, and I think that there was like one other person who was using like an obvious fake name, and you were like, "Yeah, we used to, care about that."
Yeah, I did make a specific exception for Sprite Monkey, and my rationale was that he had already gained some internet fame under that name.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Good old Sprite Monkey.
Yeah, apparently he's still alive.
Yeah, he's been updating his site and everything. Still no word on a Secret of Mana playthrough we were supposed to do together, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, me, him, and Michael Gray. Oh well. And it's podcasts with an S, right? Is it?
No.
What?
Oh no.
Hold on, let me.
Because I think in the last article it had an S.
I think it should just be podcast, singular.
Or maybe. Oh, you're probably right. I'm sorry. I think I'm misremembering.
Because I sent myself an email. I can go check.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's podcast singular in the post. I don't know where I got the S from. I'm just a crazy person.
Paul. Yeah, podcast at GameCola.net. Which we will remember this time and not have to.
Yes, or we'll have a 5-minute segment of us trying to remember.
Yes, again. I think I've done a pretty good job at cutting it up and making it not obvious, though.
No, yeah. I'm continually impressed with your editing skills, considering what we give you to work with.
Right? Actually, Michael Gray was relaying a story that apparently he swapped your response on a previous occasion. That he edited a positive response to something that you had given a negative response to.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember. I think I remember vaguely. No, I remember him telling me about how he edited some of his own dialogue out and re-recorded himself saying it.
No, he was saying that you were upset with him because he had apparently taken, like, you had given, like, oh yes, I like that, and no, I hate that, to something that he said, and then he swapped which was which.
Oh, well, what a jerk.
Who?
Michael Gray.
I don't remember this, but now I'm upset again, I guess. Wait, why isn't he here? He always shows up.
Yeah, he was here last week. Although
He's not on staff.
maybe I can edit him in, because I did in fact record a brief segment of, who was it? I think it was him and Colin were the ones that showed up, and
neither of them are here this week. Oh,
right.
I'm disappointed.
We could also just record this random banter and then stick it in and pretend it's video game related.
Is that what we do anyway?
Well, see, I can just say, like, or we can all just say random, like, Mario Brothers, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I can edit the stuff that we said before, but take out all the words that we said about tea and replace them with video games. So
I forgot that we talked for like 15 minutes about tea, which probably amounts to half of our last recording.
Actually, that is the absolute truth, because I literally had to go about 2/3 through the previous recording before we actually got to the introduction, and then there was about 5 more minutes before we actually said anything useful.
We're so good at this. What number of podcasts are we on again? 2?
33.
3? Is that what you said?
Yes, 3.
Yeah, see, I can take all the times that we were like, oh yeah, Constant Comment is my favorite tea, and I can replace Constant Comment with Super Mario Brothers, and replace tea with game, and just pretend that we had a long conversation.
3DS is my favorite. 3D gaming system.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember when they talked about the 3DS in Scott Pilgrim. It was so cool.
Yes, this is the best podcast. I'm gonna have so much fun editing this when it's in like 5 parts.
It's gonna be like a collage of voices.
Yeah, because I swear I'm gonna try to work in stuff that Michael Collins said last time.
We need the material.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, actually, I might have mentioned this in the podcast before, that I took a class on robot vision.
Go on.
Was there more?
I was waiting.
Or are you just giving us your syllabus here, your class schedule?
I was just putting a period, like I didn't have anything else to say.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's get started.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 3:45. I think that's enough.
Right.
I'm totally eating a Three Musketeers bar right now because I could feel myself fading. I'm like, oh, I need to eat something.
That's a good idea. I always get my my podcast tea ready and a box of raisins that I can eat while I mute the microphone.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, I'm all about this. Not only that, you ready for this? The tea I'm drinking, and this is the last thing I'll say before we'll start recording soon. But the tea I'm drinking, it's called Constant Comment,
yes,
which I think is super appropriate for the podcast.
Sorry, Constant Comment is one of my favorite teas.
Is it really? I only just discovered it like a few months ago.
Was it because you?
It's great.
Was it because you watched Scott Pilgrim?
No, but I did later when I haven't seen the movie yet. I read it in the book.
Oh.
But I got it just because it was on sale. Came in a large box.
Well, okay. I mean, I know we said that we were going to actually do the podcast.
Oh, God.
But, okay,
real quick, come on.
Yes, a few years ago I started getting into tea. I had never really been into it, but I figured might as well start, and I got a pack, and it was like, we're including 2 extra for free. and they were Constant Comment.
Whoa.
Yeah, and from there, I was like, whoa, this is actually pretty good. I like this one. And it quickly became...
So they got you.
Yeah, it quickly became my favorite tea. And then...
Their strategy succeeded.
And then, recently, a friend of mine made me watch Scott Pilgrim, and when she was going through the list of teas, I did in fact recognize, oh yeah, Constant Comment.
I saw it in the... Or actually, Lizzo saw it in the book first, and she started laughing as soon as she saw it, because she didn't think anyone else drank this stuff.
Would, I don't know, is it a trademark of that brand? Like, is it Bigelow?
I think it's that company's big thing. Like, at the supermarket, they were selling, like, they had an enormous box, like a crate of Constant Comment, and then a bunch of other little boxes of other varieties that they sell.
Yeah.
So I think it's like their flagship tea. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TeaCast. It's Paul.
And I'm
I like
Alex.
tea a lot. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good one for the April Fool's podcast.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. Okay, hold on. We're rewinding, we're going back in time. It is the beginning of the podcast. Christian Porter, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Christian Porter. I don't write a whole lot. It comes in waves.
See, now you introduced yourself. I'm going to edit that to fit into the beginning of the podcast to make it sound like you were here the whole time.
All right.
You should also just say a couple of random sound clips that are universally useful that we can pepper into the regular conversation before you showed up.
Let's
How do
see.
you feel? What's your favorite kind of tea?
You know, I'm not a big fan of tea. Is
I
that a
can
good
add that in.
soundbite? That's an alright soundbite.
I can still add that in.
Yeah, the first
I'm
like
totally
15
going
minutes. The first 15 minutes of our what, like 30-minute recording
Yeah.
was tea talk.
Oh, there you go. I'm not a big fan of tea. Although, I have had some delightful chai in my time.
Oh, chai is wonderful. I'm a big chai drinker here.
And when I've had any of my wife's tea, because she likes it, I found white tea is okay.
Really? I've
So there you go.
never really liked it that much. I drink a lot of darker teas, stuff that puts right on the packaging that it contains lots of caffeine and has pictures of stampeding buffalo on it and stuff.
So you're like a tea drinker's tea drinker. I'm the guy that doesn't like tea, so that's tea for people that don't like tea.
So, Paul, how are we still called GameCola if it's clear that tea is where your loyalties lie?
Oh, that is absolutely not true. I drink a lot more soda than I drink tea. I just drink a lot of both.
You just talk about tea more than you talk about cola.
Yeah, well, we can talk. We can have some soda talk.
Wait. Okay, Paul.
Yes.
What are your feelings on Mountain Dew?
I actually have many feelings on Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew, standard Mountain Dew, I used to like it a lot, but now I've discovered if I drink it in too heavy a quantity, it makes me feel sick. So I've switched over to Diet Mountain Dew recently, and I find that it doesn't taste that bad. I actually enjoy the taste of Diet Mountain Dew.
I've actually never tried it.
It sounds like it should be awful, but, I enjoy it. But I also like several of the Mountain Dew spin-offs, my favorite being Voltage, which just came out in the past year or so.
Not bad.
I really liked whatever the like fruit punch one was that I apparently lost, which I can't believe because the other two were horrible.
Oh, I can totally
Red?
believe it. That Snow Arctic Blast, we want you to feel cold when you look at it, drink. That's great. Still have a large bottle of small quantity in my fridge where it's more relevant than this podcast.
I also enjoyed the Halloween-themed Mountain Dew they came out with one year, Pitch Black. That was pretty good. It was grape flavored. But then the next year they came out with Pitch Black 2, which was just gross because they made it like all tangy. Yeah.
Weird.
I remember one year, this was had to be 6 years ago now, that they had, and this isn't Mountain Dew, but it's Pepsi, they had Christmas...
Holiday Spice.
Yes.
Yes, I'm the only person in the world who liked that drink, I believe, unless you're about to reveal that you liked it as well.
I'm sorry, Paul Franzen, I did not like
I
Holiday Spice Pepsi.
See, I have much like my taste in video games is weird. My taste in soda is also a little weird.
Well, I've never even been a fan of vanilla Coke or any of that. So.
You should. That stuff's good too.
So see, this is Game Cola. Well, Game Mountain Dew.
We're putting the cola in Game Cola.
Yeah, it's relevant now.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I don't know if it made sense, but...
No, it does now. It's not just because it was the last domain available.
Last domain available.net.
We couldn't even get .com. We couldn't even get the .com. Although the person who owns .com actually messaged me earlier this year trying to sell it to me for an enormous amount of money, and I told him I would give him like $20 for it. I'm like, that's all it's worth to me, and I'm the only person in the world who's going to buy that. So, good luck.
Yeah, there's not really much demand.
Yeah. Like, really, I guess there are a lot of people who really want to cash in on that GameCola name, so good luck trying to find them.
When I was coming up for names for Slothbot, I had like 100 names I went through, and then at the end of it I was like, well, I'm lazy. And robots. And that's how it came to be.
I mean, that's how GameCola happened, too. I was like, well, it has to have game in it, because all of the video game magazines I read start with game, and I like soda. All right, there you go. That's the whole story.
Yeah, that's it.
Secret origin revealed at last.
Yeah. Actually,
Christian... Never mind.
Christian Porter, actually, an interesting thing is, last year, I was working on a game with a couple of friends of mine, and oddly enough, the name that we settled on for our, quote, development company was Lazy Robots.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
See, it's such a universal.
Yes. So, are we here to talk about 3D games?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
Sorry, where were we?
I believe we were wrapping up.
Were we?
I don't know. Well, we were telling people about all the wonderful ways they can contact us.
Yeah.
After all, we already
actually doing a podcast.
We already tackled the main focus, and that was tea.
Let's not forget about soda.
Yeah.
And soda. Tea, soda, 3D games, and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Part of
and the
this
other
balance
beverages we would like to discuss. Milk. I like milk.
Eggnog's making a comeback.
Oh, I can't wait for eggnog.
I'm enjoying it. I have some
It's
right
here.
now.
It's here. It's not here. I was never a big eggnog drinker, but then Lizzo, when I started going to Lizzo's family's house for Christmas, they'd always have some eggnog there, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I never had it, and my wife got it, and I was like, ew, eggnog. And all I could think of was egg.
Yeah, it
and just
doesn't,
focus on that egg.
The name does not sound like something you'd actually want to drink.
Yeah, they should call it delicious milkshake nog.
Yes.
And then I'd be a lot more apt to drink it.
Actually, I think it's kind of comical that here we are, a bunch of nerds, and we're talking about, like, what are some beverages? Well, there's tea, and there's soda. What else is there to drink?
I don't know what you're getting at.
Is there anything else that people drink? Because...
Drink juice.
Right? Okay.
I drink water almost exclusively. I'm very enthusiastic about my water.
No, the last time I had any alcohol was at my brother's wedding, like 12 years ago. So there you go.
I had some the other day, and it immediately
yourself?
reminded me why I don't.
Not only do we abstain from alcohol, we abstain from talking about the topic.
Yep, that's how clean we are.
Actually, I was recently looking in my refrigerator, and way in the back is like 4 Coors Lights that have been there for about 6 months because someone came over to my house and brought some beer, and it was a 6-pack, and I think they drank 2, and the other 4 are still sitting in my refrigerator.
Yeah, actually, something like that happened to us too. Our upstairs neighbor at our old apartment asked to borrow our snow shovel, and he repaid us by giving us like a 6-pack of beer, and we were kind of baffled because we didn't know what you were supposed to do with it. We ended up making bread out of it.
I believe it's some manner of shampoo.
And then my parents came over to visit like a few weeks later, and they were so excited that we actually had alcohol to serve them. They never saw that coming. It was like a big surprise.
Here you go, Mom and Dad, the neighbor's Schlitz.
Welcome to Beverage Cast.
Actually, I'm kind of amazed that I even know what Schlitz is.
It's pretty gross.
Is it?
Is what it is.
Well,
yeah, it is.
Because, okay, do you guys know that I'm into scooters?
Yep.
I knew that.
Yeah, okay,
I was unaware.
And in my scooter club, we have a club, you see, one of the dudes is having, like, a party over, I guess, Schlitz is coming back with their original formula, and he's having, like, a big thing about this, and that was the first time that I'd ever even heard of the thing. So I'm shocked and amazed that I even know what you're talking about. Because, see, if you had said this, like, 2 weeks ago, I've been like, ha ha, funny random word.
What a silly word.
That was my exact response. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, I would have just thought that it was like booze, like a random, generic reference for alcohol that I had just never heard.
It would have worked. It would have worked just fine.
Anyway,
Now, this The Scooter Club.
Yeah.
Are you at odds with the Hells Angels? Is there a rivalry?
No, actually,
We whooped their ass.
no, there's a biker bar down the street that we go to occasionally just to sort of bother them. Because, like, when you're talking about Harleys and stuff, actually, half of the bikes in the club are faster than the Harleys.
Well, and do you tell them this?
I'm sure they'd love to hear this.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, like, the dudes who just, like, they're a lawyer and they own Harley Davidson and they ride it on, like, sunny days in the summer.
Yeah.
They're the only ones who actually give you any trouble. Like, for whatever reason, they want to, think that they're better than you. But the actual dudes who have been, like, riding for decades and actually care about bikes and stuff, they actually think scooters are cool. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd imagine it's the people who feel like they have something to prove.
Yeah.
Are the ones that actually go out of their way to give anyone a hard time.
Yeah. Welcome to Scootercast. Actually, there is a podcast called Scootercast.
Really?
Yeah, it's spelled without the E. It's like Scootercast or something.
Like Flickr.
Yeah.
And Tumblr.
Yeah, I think it actually might also not have the A. Like, I want to say that it's like Scootercast.
Because screw you, vowels.
But they have the oo, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just
Skitcher.
But really, after O, what other vowels do you need?
It's all purpose. I think we should go through Wikipedia and we should discuss every topic there but 3D games.
It's a very expensive controller. Although I guess it's not a controller because you are the controller.
So I'm doing all the work. I should be able. It should cost less than a controller. It's like going to a restaurant where I'm bussing my own tables.
No, if such a restaurant existed, you would probably have to pay for the privilege of going to such a gimmicky themed restaurant as that.
You're right.
That would be the whole point of the restaurant. Come make your own meal, take care of yourself.
It's shabby chic.
Well, see, actually, where was it? There's been a few places that we've gone with the scooter club that one guy always complains about because why do I have to pay to cook my own food? We went to a place where it was like all you can eat pancakes, but it was like you sit at this large table that is actually like a large stove, and basically you pour the batter onto the large stove and cook your own
That's
pancakes.
awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's
I
pretty
love it.
sweet. But he was like the entire time he was just like, why am I paying for this? Like, I have to cook my own
I don't
food.
know. Were you forced at gunpoint to come in?
I mean, he was joking around, but
Oh, okay.
The Melting Pot, the fondue restaurant, the Melting Pot. They're a chain, but I don't know how far the chain is.
I know
that's
there's
like
goes
I think
down
it's
to
one
Maine.
at Matt's.
they have one down here in Florida. Well, I mean,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so-
but like in addition to the various cheese and chocolate fondues, you can also get like meat-based meals that you actually like. They put a big pot in front of you with boiling water, and you sit there and cook it, and then you eat it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a pasty meat that like you
It pours
dip
out of the
things
fountain.
in. I thought it was like a beef dip pate type thing.
Yes, and they give you like a platter of bacon. To
Yeah, I was just gonna say bacon. You dip it in the beef. That's the man platter.
delicious.
I just picture like one of those chocolate fountains, but overflowing with meat.
The steaks and bacon falling out of it.
However, that would be possible.
I think I know what I want to get to cater my wedding now.
The meat fountain.
And I'm thinking meat fountain.
I'll be starting that business.
Perfect.
Where's Lizzo? What does she have to say about this?
Thankfully,
Love
she
it.
is not in the room right now. She's a staunch vegetarian, so might not work out.
Yikes.
Tell her it's carrots.
I don't think she'll be fooled.
Don't worry, it's actually tofu.
She's a vegetarian. She's probably forgot what it tastes like.
If you told her this was a podcast about 3D games, would she believe that?
I thought this was T-Cast.
I thought it was Scootercast.
So we're talking about fancy restaurants.
Our last segment is Podcast 35. At this point, we'd stopped trying to force topics on the podcast, but we somehow still managed to end up off topic.
Can I very shortly interrupt?
Please?
Paul, I believe you said something about GameCola playing Dungeons and Dragons on the PCast.
Oh, I
This may or may not be edited out.
I've mentioned it as a possibility because I thought it might be fun.
I think
but I think I'm like, I thought of the idea because I've actually been listening to a podcast that is a Dungeons and Dragons session, basically in podcast form, and it's surprisingly entertaining as someone who hasn't played Dungeons and Dragons in a few years, it's kind of a neat way to kind of join in on a game session without actually being there and being all sweaty and eating pizza.
That's the best part, though.
The Mountain
That's
Dew
true.
will flow.
Well, I mean, it's not the optimal way to. The optimal way to play D&D is to actually play D&D, but this is also entertaining to me. So I
But not
thought
playing
that
D&D is
Nathaniel
just
agreed
as-
with me that this could be something GameCola could do.
Yeah, I volunteered to DM if we ever wanted to.
Would it be people not in the same room together doing it?
It would probably be all Skyped.
So we
I
need to
check.
trust other people not to fudge their rolls.
Well,
or
there,
have the DM roll everything for them.
I was actually, believe it or not, I did a while back play D&D over Skype with people across the world, and they have internet-based Dungeons and Dragons. You load up your character into the thing, and it's got a little map, and you actually do everything online. It does all the rolling for you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool, and it's way easier to keep track of all of your stats and stuff that way.
Yes, it's very cool.
It was hosted by a dude in Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there was enough interest in it, I think that would be a cool thing to do. And I think as a whole, we're entertaining enough to produce something that people might want to listen to, maybe.
Potentially.
We are characters. We're fun, right? Right?
Yes.
We're fun.
Isn't this a discussion we should have had before we started a podcast that rely on us being interesting people?
Are we fun people? Does anyone want to listen to us?
Please comment.
No, let's all go home.
Well, actually, on that subject, I mentioned this on my personal Facebook account, but not necessarily. That doesn't mean everyone has seen it. GameCola, the GameCola podcast on iTunes, has officially received enough ratings to be rated on iTunes. Wow.
I did
And you
see
know what that rating is, everyone?
E for everyone?
5 out of 5. That's right.
Was that by a GameCola
We are
staff member?
such big cheaters. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Granted, most of those ratings did probably come from us, but at least one of them might not be from us.
It counts.
Also, our only review on iTunes is still from Colin, but
Yeah. It's because we're awesome.
but that means people like listening to us, and whether those people are just us or not, it's immaterial, really.
As long as we're entertaining to ourselves, that's all that matters,
Yeah.
I guess.
What's this? Could this be the end? Don't worry, GameCola faithful. The podcast is always generating more off-topic content, so be patient. Until next time.